Hello, hello. Just takes 1 second. There we go. All right.
Got it.
We are rolling. We're going to be pros at this by the end of the week. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am here with Dr. Victoria, who had a very insightful presentation for us all about anxiety. So if you haven't yet watched that, please feel free to check that out after this Q&A. But if you were able to watch it, feel free to put your questions in. If you have any questions for Dr. Victoria, we'll be checking in on those as we move along here. So feel free to pop those into the comments area. So Dr. Victoria is a naturopathic doctor who specializes in anxiety and in mental health, and she has created so many wonderful resources for everyone. And so thank you so much for taking the time and for sharing your knowledge with us, Dr. Victoria.
So happy to be here, especially the second year of this. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, so exciting. I love that we're making this an annual thing for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much for being willing to help educate us all and share your knowledge and resources. So just to kind of, on that note, like what led you to wanting to help with anxiety? What led you to that kind of area?
Great question. So for me specifically, I dealt with anxiety, but really, really intense anxiety where I couldn't get into a car. I couldn't leave my house. Like it was affecting my vision, affecting my social life, my career, all of that. And I ended up fainting in public a few times. I would be like thrown up in public bathrooms. Like ended up in the ER, and I just couldn't figure out what it was. And asking doctor after doctor, no one really knew what it was. And at the end, I kind of figured out that it was a panic attack, like classic panic attack symptoms. But I realized I wasn't feeling anxious, but my body was. So for me, that was a big wake up call of like, oh, this is a whole new way of anxiety where it should be talked about more. And so when I was trying to ask around for answers and solutions, no one really knew how to explain it to me, or they didn't have the time to explain it to me, or doctors weren't well versed in holistic health where they just said, oh, you're just stressed. You just need to meditate more, here's a medication, but I don't have time to talk to you about it. So for me, it was very personal. I saw the holes in healthcare for anxiety as a patient firsthand, going through so many doctors and all the self-doubt and the pain of each excruciating moment of anxiety, that I knew there had to be a different way. So once I became a naturopathic doctor, even since day one actually of med school, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I need to change. And I am on just a mission to just completely change how healthcare approaches anxiety.
Yeah, and you are doing just that. So again, thank you for the work that you're doing, and so many people that you have already helped. And I remember in your talk you mentioned, there's a lot of like busy work that can come with the search for the right answers for helping with anxiety. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what that means, like, and just some examples of maybe things that you experienced too, of, like you said, just meditated away, or if you can kind of speak to what that busy work might look like for people who they feel like they're doing the work, but maybe it's not really getting them results. Or
that's a great question, because I remember when I was going through anxiety, the first thing I did was go on Google. It's like natural ways to deal with anxiety. Why do I have anxiety? How do I solve anxiety? And the things you get are very temporary band-aids. Like it's stuff like, oh, just meditate for 20 minutes every day or every hour, just indefinitely, or just take these supplements and just hope it gets better. And it's not that those things don't work. it just may not be the specific root cause of your root cause. So when I say busy work, I don't mean that it's just they're not really making a difference. It might be making a difference, but it's not the full picture. So that could look like so many different things. So things like meditating when we're trying to de-stress the body, but there's things that are stressing out the body, like allergies or hormone imbalances. So those are the things that I consider not busy work in terms of like really tackling your root causes. Busy work can even look like, like I mentioned, just carrying around a bucket load of supplements everywhere you go, but the supplements aren't really addressing your root causes. So trying to remember when to take it, like taking it so many different times a day, it's a busy work at the end of the day, trying to remember all of that, because there's a lot of work. It could be even things like, like some people think, I just need to de-stress a little bit. I need to take a bath. I need to do my nails. I need to get a massage. And those are all so great. But if stress is not the source of your anxiety, then at the end of the day, it is busy work. So yeah, anything that's not the root cause in my book is considered busy work.
Yeah. What are some, just like Dr. Kirsten commented there, root cause is key. Definitely. If you're having financial stress, but then you're focusing on taking a bath or, you know what I mean? And it's not really solving that underlying issue. Totally get that. Are there any examples of maybe some surprising things that people may not think about that impacts their stress? Like you mentioned allergies, that might be a surprising one. Anything like that?
Yeah, allergies, even sensitivities, doesn't have to be a full-blown allergy for it to affect your mood. Like I mentioned, hormone imbalances, digestive issues, sleep issues, stress, your nervous system, automatic thought patterns you have, the way that your body responds to certain situations. There's so many things. Even your immune system is huge with anxiety. Even external factors like what's happening around you, things that even how you feel like your locus of control compared to the things that are happening to you. What else? Like even your exercise routine, your blood sugar is huge with anxiety as well. There's so many things I could think of. That's the beauty of it, because your body is so interconnected. And if you really think about it, if there was really one root cause of anxiety that like was the make or break it for everything, then if life happens to you and something happens to that body system, then you're kind of screwed, because everything just depends on one thing. But your body, that's why I love naturopathic medicine. Your body is so interconnected and everything kind of just plays on each other and it helps each other. So if you really address the whole body and the different body systems and support it from all different angles, then there's so many ways to support yourself and your mood that can prevent anxiety.
Yeah. And to me, it's really that resiliency building, right? So then you have a strong foundation and those key pillars that we talk about in naturopathic medicine. So then when we do encounter those potentially, stressful situations or situations that may in the past have triggered anxiety for us, at least we then have a stronger foundation to better deal with, the situation at hand.
Exactly.
What are some of those kind of foundational, I know we talked about a little, some of those with the root causes, but what are some of those kind of foundational pieces that you find are just really fundamental for someone, trying to manage their anxiety?
So that's actually a really great question, because my anxiety program, the Banish Anxiety Method, I specifically created 4 steps that has to be a certain order because I've seen it be so effective. So the first step is to really find out what your root cause is, because like we talked about, there's so many different types. If you're addressing 1, 2, 3, or 5, but they're not your root causes, then we need to get back to that to really be efficient. But the second, a lot of people don't realize, is to look at your detox pathways. And detox is a term that gets thrown around online a lot. People think it's like the lemon cayenne water cleanses, or like not eating for a bunch of days. But in the medical sense, like I'm sure the detox are the ways that your body naturally gets rid of things that it's meant to do. So so when I tell my clients, the detox is, sleeping, it's pooping, it's peeing, it's sweating, it's all of those things. Because if our detox pathways are backed up and is not free flowing, then no matter how many supplements or medications or just things that you throw at it, that's things are going to get backed up and you're still going to have anxiety. So detoxing or making sure that your body can really do what it's supposed to do is what I found to be really necessary as step 2 before adding anything else on. And then step 3 would be to add things that take away anxiety and take away things that increase anxiety. So like we talked about, that could be like herbal medicine, that can be lifestyle changes, it could be nutrition changes, it could be pharmaceuticals if you need, but really making sure that it is really moving the needle. And then lastly is to make sure you stay there, because life happens and you get thrown in different situations. You're not a stagnant person. Things will happen. And to really build that resilience, like we talked about, having more tools in your toolbox to really deal with any situation that life throws at you so that you can get back to that homeostasis.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. And someone just asked, how do we treat it? Will symptomatic treatment work? And I think you talked a lot about that with the root cause, as well as the step-by-step process that you have. And you mentioned in your talk about like suppression and suppression treatments. Can you talk a little bit about like just examples of, what that may mean or look like for someone, and maybe when is a good time to utilize those versus not?
Yeah. Suppression treatments are necessary when they're needed. Like, it's not bad. There's a time and a place for everything. But I think a lot of people don't realize is that symptoms are popping up because of something underlying. So if you only just graze the top and get rid of the symptoms, it's going to just come back up because you don't treat the root causes, right? But sometimes you do need symptom suppression to be able to work on the root causes. And sometimes you need it because your day is just so bad that you just need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with using what you need. So whatever form that may look like, whether that's pharmaceuticals or even natural things like supplements or lifestyle or nutrition or acupuncture or anything that's more natural, all of those things, if it really only is treating the symptoms and not treating the root causes, then that's symptom suppression. I personally love to work with my clients in both treating the symptoms and the root causes, because treating the root causes takes a while. And I don't want people to feel bad for weeks until we get rid of the root cause. So I think the best game plan is something that really treats the symptoms superficially, but also the root causes. So it's good to have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And I think that's helpful to understand that even the natural treatments can still be suppressive, right? If we're still not working on the root cause. Yeah, I think often we think because it's natural, or that it's that means automatically that it's treating the root cause, and that's not necessarily true, especially if you haven't taken the time to work with someone to figure out what the root cause may be. And like you mentioned, there's a laundry list of possible things that that could be contributing to that. And I think that's the other piece is, and for me as well, why I appreciate naturopathic medicine is because we look at all of those different factors that might be contributing. Because like I said, we don't live in a petri dish. We're not machines. We live, in the world, and there's so many different factors, right, that come along with that. Anything else that that you've maybe noticed with working with anxiety that maybe are just surprising to people about anxiety, or about things that really moved the needle for them, whether simple or complex? Just some examples.
I think the number one thing I've noticed is most people think that anxiety is not solvable. And that mindset in itself is a huge roadblock for what's possible. Because for me, like, I remember I had hourly panic attacks. Like I couldn't go to clinic, I couldn't see patients. It was horrible. It was so bad. And now I'm completely anxiety free. I'm talking with you today. Like I have so much hope when everyone was telling me that anxiety is something you just have to manage and just live with for the rest of your life because it's a death sentence. And the moment that, when I realized that, okay, anxiety is something that's my past. It's not something in my personality. It's not something because something's wrong with me because I'm not capable enough or strong enough. No one has ever told me that. Like, no one told me that anxiety is something that could be solved.
Yeah.
And I just want to just shout that from the rooftops, so that everyone and their mama knows that it's not, forever. It's possible. And the possibility is something that more people need to know about. And once they know that, they have the empowerment to really seek out the like things that they really need to move the needle. So there's so many things that can move the needle, and it really depended on you and what you need, your likes and dislikes, your root causes, what you're able to do, what you're able to access. And there's so many answers out there. So for anyone who's watching, I just hope that, for me, I went through 14 doctors. Like I went through so much. I spent thousands of dollars on labs and ERs and specialists and like so many different things when I was diagnosed with so many different things, that it's like, I understand your frustration. I understand what it feels like to be told that, oh, this is something you just have to deal with. So just take this one thing, trust me, and I don't have time to explain it to you, but just take this. But there are answers out there. And you just got to keep looking. I promise you, it's so very possible, because both me and my clients are living proof that it's so possible to overcome anxiety after tens and tens of psychiatrists and medications and supplement trials. So even though in your past, you may not have gotten the answer, it doesn't mean that it's not in the future for you. And so I just encourage you to just keep trying to find the answer, because it's out there.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because too often, it can be discouraging, and it's especially when it is a long road for many people. It can be discouraging to keep going, or maybe they try something once and then they just assume that it's not for them. But maybe, like you mentioned in your talk, they might be taking the wrong dose of something, or there's just so many different factors. So I think that's really important to, like you said, not give up, and just know that there are people out there who are ready to help you, who are able to help you. It's just a matter of finding the right person for you to work with. And speaking of that, I think that's a good place to kind of wrap things up. So where can people find you? Can you tell us a little bit more about the workshops and programs that you have available for people?
Yeah, so my signature anxiety program is called the Banish Anxiety Method, and it's specifically there to help high achievers erase anxiety without medications or countless hours of meditation, but not only erase it, but to keep you there so that you can really up-level your life and thrive and not be held back anymore. So I am so proud of that program, because it's such a community, and it makes me so happy every time I go in there and I see the changes that are possible for people who've been hurt by the medical system like I have. So definitely check that out. I also put together a workshop series. It's 4 1-hour workshops where I dive in through everything I wish everyone knew about anxiety. So it's really there to help you holistically erase anxiety for good, and to give you the basis to have that really strong foundation. It's all the myths that I wish people were told otherwise. Like it's kind of like it's a workshop series of someone who is both a doctor but also has gone through it as a patient. It is everything that I wish literally everyone knew before they saw their doctor. So you can find both of those in my bios link, in my Instagram bios link. And I cannot wait to chat with you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to chat with you, brainstorm what would be the best game plan for your specific anxiety. I'm here for you.
I love that. And again, thank you so much. And do we have any questions before we wrap up here? Does anyone have any other questions that they would like to ask Dr. Victoria while we have her here? Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for everyone who joined.
Yeah, thank you all. Well, we've loved having you. And again, if you haven't had a chance to listen to Dr. Victoria's full talk, then be sure to register. You can still sign up and get access to her talk. If you're not yet on the list, you'll receive the email, you'll receive access to our Facebook group, and you'll be able to watch it on replay and be able to take notes. But thank you all so much for taking the time to be here, and thank you, Dr. Victoria, again for being here for round 2 of the Your Healthy Mind Summit. It's been so wonderful having you with us.
Thank you so much for bringing us all together. This has been so much fun.
Thank you. And thank you all again for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more live Q&As and more master classes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.